What's going on with Haiti? It seems like anarchy? I know their previous head of state was assassinated, but now their new head resigned. What's going on? Where is the international community in this? Answer: so Haiti's always been pretty messy. In 1991 and later 2004, the same man Jean-Bertrand Aristide was couped, with some believing that there was American and French involvement. The first time he got couped it was by the military, so when he came back he disbanded it, and since then politicians have favored courting street gangs. Two separate peacekeeping missions came to Haiti during this time. In 2010 a large earthquake destroyed much of Port-au-Prince, the nation's capital, further plunging an already unstable government into further poverty. It was in this aftermath we saw the election of Jovenel Moïse, who won the 2016 election in a landslide. It also had an around 20% turnout. I see both 18% and 21%, and some accusation of voting intimidation. Moïse would get into trouble not long after for corruption. Supposedly he misused loans and in doing so alienated the Venezuelan government, who stopped sending fuel, creating broad blackouts and rising oil prices, along with general accusations of corruption. This kept going quite regularly until 2020 and 2021, when the protests recentered itself to focus more on Moïse himself. First it was the mishandling of the COVID pandemic, and after that it was accusations of police brutality. Supposedly, a coup attempt in March led to Moïse arresting a bunch of people, sparking accusations of dictatorship. Moïse's actual term became the problem, with opposition figures suggesting his term ended in February, while Moïse said his government had till 2022. The protests became massive and included both the rampant street gangs and jail breaks that we're seeing now. That July, Moïse is murdered. 28 people were involved, 26 Colombian and 2 Haitian Americans. Supposedly it was an attempted coup hired by some Haitian Americans. Who plotted it is hard to tell. The American group were definitely involved, but there's wide perception that there were people involved higher up than them. Accusations go from a major drug kingpin, a group of senators, Moïse's widow, and the current president. Many of these claims are political. The current regime accuses their enemies while the opposition claims the government is in on it. Afterwards, it was unclear who was going to take over as acting president, with 2 clear possibilities: Claude Joseph and Ariel Henry. They both fought for the position, publicly declaring themselves both interim president. In the end, an agreement put Henry in charge. They have since both been accused of killing Moïse, with Joseph being accused by Henry and Henry by authorities he refused to cooperate with. Since then Henry has been a massively unpopular figure. Since 2021, gangs who supported Moïse have accused the Henry government of being complicit and have been stirring up trouble to get mass resignations. Elections have been postponed and multiple arrests have been made of senators Henry blamed for the murder. In late 2023, early 2024, the largest gang in Port-au-Prince, led by Jimmy Churzier and former coup leader Guy Philippe, had organized a series of attacks both against the government and rivals. Churzier's gang is the G9 and his enemies are the G-PEP, but neither support Henry. Earlier in March, Henry left to Kenya, while there the G9 gang alliance took over 2 prisons and released more than 4,000 people. They more or less took the city. They had controlled about 90% before this, with the area becoming essentially a battle. Henry attempted to return but couldn't after the airports in the capital were taken, leading him to resign from the presidency from Kenya. The Minister of Finance, Michael Boisvert, now is Prime Minister, but it's unclear if he's going to last long. As far as I can tell, fighting's still happening. Edit: forgot to answer the international community question. Haiti keeps being intervened on. It had UN peacekeepers in its borders from 2004 to 2017, and that was a mess. UN peacekeepers were accused of being heavily involved in human trafficking, a not uncommon accusation surrounding them. That, along with corruption involving aid money that started this whole affair, I think means most of the international community has little interest in involving themselves. Maybe there are international backers for one side or the other, but right now, from what I know, it seems like most governments are standing back and asking for a return to democracy and civil order while pulling their citizens out.